to speak to my son. Do you mind? Thank God you're here. This is a ridiculous mistake.
I know, and I'll get you out of here as soon as I can. But first, tell me what happened. Victor, the last time I saw you was at home connected to all your phone equipment.
After I made the trace of the murderer's telephone call, and that equipment is excellent, by the way, especially considering its rock-bottom price. Well, I was so excited that my plan had actually worked that I just had to go to the payphone to see who it was for myself.
Garcia, this is a mistake. He was only trying to help.
We found Victor in the vicinity of the phone used by the self-professed killer. He goes nowhere for now.
But he's not your man. And I think I can prove it.
I'm listening.
I want to go back on the radio while you have Victor in custody. If I can bait the killer to call me while I'm on the air, then we have the proof that Victor's innocent.
I saw on television that Victor was here.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
Not so great, actually. The killer's still out there, but Victor's under arrest as the prime suspect. Excuse us.
It was so sweet of you to come. I'm so glad you're here.
I wish Kevin felt the same way. But you are the man I came to see. Okay, explain what happened to me. How could the police find you at the phone call place? I mean, why were you there where they traced it to? Explain.
Well, the police ineptitude. That's all it is. I traced the phone call faster than they did. I even got to the payphone ahead of them. If they weren't totally incompetent, they should have been there early enough to arrest the culprit, and that way we wouldn't go through this whole fiasco.
Right, so we just have to convince the police that they've got the wrong man.
Oh, I was there, and that's all they want to hear about, apparently. Also, because the killer's voice was distorted over the telephone, they think it could just as easily have been mine. It just gets more and more absurd.
Brother, okay, is there something I can do? Anything?
Oh, no, thank you for asking. Mike is doing everything he can to get me out of here. I think I'm in good hands.
You're in the best hands ever. I just feel like I need to do something.
Oh, Lucy, if you and he could work together, who knows what might come of that?
Yeah, well, that would be a little difficult, seeing how he's not really speaking to me at the moment. Doesn't look too promising.
Never give up. I know my son. He may be as stubborn as a stone, but I promise you, I am not the only person who misses your tar around the lighthouse.
Thank you.
I don't want to sound selfish, but I can't think of a better way for you to reconcile than by joining forces to save me from an unjust imprisonment. How's that for a fairy tale ending?
I love it. I just don't see that happening, though. You know, because a few days ago I was going to be married to that man over there, and now he doesn't want anything to do with me. That won't do. It just won't do. So I'm going to win him back. That's all. I have to.
Joe, have you heard? Victor is being held in connection with the general homicide killings. I just saw it on the news.
Well, has he been charged?
Well, the report says he's being questioned, but I think he's such a sweet, dear man. It's impossible to believe. But then the police don't arrest people unless they have good cause, do they? I don't know what to think.
Listen to me. Maybe you should just stay away from this guy for a while, okay?
No, I've always considered myself a very good judge of character. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body.
Well, did the police have any evidence?
Well, I can't imagine they would. Anyway, I just wanted to touch base. Is Frank home?
No, he's working.
Oh, well, I gotta get going, too. Maybe I'll see
Listen,
him.
Mom, do you still have grandmother's wedding ring?
Of course I do. I promised my mother I'd keep it safe.
And give it to the first of your sons who gets married.
She wanted nothing more than to see her grandsons marry and build strong, happy families.
Which I intend to do, and I intend to honor her wishes. I want Karen to wear that ring. Mom, I understand that you may not think that Karen is perfect. Nobody is. But Karen is the perfect woman for me. And I love her like you love Dad. Flaws and all. I'd like to get that ring from you so I can give it to Karen today.
Oh, well, you know, the news about Victor has kind of thrown me for a spin. Besides, I think it's in the safety deposit box. No, I've got all these errands I'm late for now. I'm sorry. Check with me later. I've got to go now, darling. Sorry.
That radio show is like a conduit to this person. He loves the power and the attention. I don't think he can resist making more contact. The conversations that I have with him elevate his game to a whole new level. It's like a macabre chess game, where I'm his opponent, but it's the victims who are the pawns. It's the one-on-one that I think he'll find too fascinating to pass up.
Kevin, this guy is not going to call in and confess and turn himself in.
That's not the point. The more I speak with him, the more we learn about his mind, but I also think we can use this to set a trap to catch him.
You think this nutjob is so into his conversations with you that he's willing to call in while Victor's in custody? And in the process, free the guy that's taking the fall for him?
He's clever, but he's also disturbed. Now, what I think you should do, while I'm on the air, have your men tail every suspect you have, all of them. One of them calls the station, we have the person we're looking for.
Maybe we already have.
I made a lot of money off that book. And I don't mind spending every penny hiring private investigators to prove that my father's innocent.
Fine. We'll give it a try. If it works, your father's off the hook, and we catch ourselves the real killer. If not...
I know. Victor's here to stay for a while. I'm on the air soon. We don't have much time.
I'll contact my men, get them into position. Jack,
Let's do it.
Well, you
No. Victor's okay. He just has two things on his mind right now. Setting you free, catching the murderer.
You know, a lot of this homicide business has been an intellectual diversion for me. A fascinating puzzle, a complex game of what if and who done it. These people aren't playing a game. These people actually believe that I could be the killer.
Kevin's plan is going to work, and then you'll go free, and then the real culprit will be caught.
And if it doesn't work, the Garcia's case against me is completely circumstantial. It'll evaporate as soon as the real killer surfaces. Well, what if that doesn't happen? What if, for whatever reason, we never hear from the killer again? Oh, Lucy, I could be in terrible trouble here.
Nurse's station, 6th floor.
Mary, is that you?
Victor.
I assume you heard the news.
I did. Are you in jail?
Well, for the moment, the police were able to contact my son, so I wanted to use my one telephone call on you.
Oh, I'm flattered, Victor. What can I do?
The only thing you can do is have faith in me.
The man I know couldn't commit those crimes you were arrested for.
Oh, thank you, Mary. That means a great deal to me. I'm going to have to go now, but I wanted you to rest assured that I will be vindicated. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye, Victor. Take care of yourself.
That was Victor Collins?
Uh-huh.
And why were you talking to him?
Well, he wanted to assure me of his innocence. He's optimistic that he's going to be cleared.
Mom, I want you to be careful with that guy, okay?
Of course. Anyway, I'm just about finished with this report. I assume that's why you're here.
No, it's not. I actually came by to see if I could get that ring from you.
No, darling, I came here and found all this work. I couldn't
All right, Mom,
make
I
a
don't
side
want
trip.
to put you out or anything. I'll just go get it myself.
Well, you're still engaged to Karen, aren't you? I mean, does it matter whether she gets the ring today, tomorrow, or the next day?
Although I value the opinions of all callers, there's only one person I'm interested in hearing from today. You know who you are. We spoke earlier, and you told me that you killed 4 people because, and I quote, they deserved to die. You've captured the attention of thousands of people, and I'm sure I'm not the only person looking forward to your call.
Tell me about it.
Hey, you're not fooling anyone, pal. This charade is a publicity stunt to sell more books.
Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Unfortunately, yours is just inaccurate. Thank you for calling. You know, I understand that many people feel the need to get something off their chests, as evidenced by our last caller.
Tell me about it.
You are a disgrace to your profession. You're not a head doctor, you're a head case.
Well, name calling isn't exactly an appropriate way to address your concerns.
Talk radio, rant radio is more like it.
I understand that people feel very passionate about this subject. How could you not? But there's only one person I'm interested in hearing from today, and that's the person responsible for committing these killings. If everyone else could please refrain from calling just for now.
Tell me about it.
Okay, fine. Everybody who watches TV knows your father was caught red-handed by the cops.
No. My father is being questioned by the police. No charges have been filed.
You planned the butchery, and he carried it out.
That isn't true.
Those buzzards, how dare they attack Kevin like that?
Girlless rebel. It's all my fault that he has to go through all this terrible ordeal.
It is not. It is not your fault.
Oh, Lucy, of course it is. If I just stayed put, if I could only control my childish curiosity, Monk wouldn't have to endure any of this.
You're a sociopath like your brother.
Ma'am, this isn't about me. It's about trying to find the person who is committing these crimes.
How can they do it? How can they be so brutal to a man who has got to be the most compassionate, kind, wonderful man in the entire universe? Victor, to tell you the truth, I just don't know how much more of this Kevin can take.
If the killer hasn't called in by now, who knows if they'll ever hear from him again. It didn't work.
No, that's not true. I still think it's going to work. I'm holding out hope, and from the sounds of things, I really think Kevin is holding out hope, too. Now, it's going to work, and that guard pal of yours outside is going to know we're sitting in here, and you couldn't possibly be the caller, and you'll go free.
Those people have just told me I don't have a chance.
No, you are innocent until proven guilty.
Lucy, listen to the logic. We don't like serial killers. We don't like eccentric people. Eccentric people and serial killers are the same. Anybody who's eccentric can be a serial killer.
Listen to me. You are perfect, just the way you are. And Kevin is going to figure out a way to get you released, and then he's going to go after and get the real predator.
Those people get their way, they'll have me burning at the stake. Monk will be on fire right beside me.
You have my full attention, as well as that of an entire city. And my father's in jail for your crimes. You're not really going to let him take credit for your handiwork, are you? This is your chance to set the record straight.
I'm sorry, but we're all out of time. Thank you, Dr. Collins, for another provocative show.
Clear.
Thank you.
Man, tough crowd. Too bad our town maniac didn't call in. Maybe that's because he's already in custody. Look, Kevin, I know this is tough, but maybe you should at least entertain the possibility that your father's guilty.
Just because I couldn't lure the killer onto the radio doesn't mean that the plan didn't work. What about one of your men? Following the suspects might have come up with something.
They all checked in. Not one of the people they tailed did anything suspicious.
Well, that just doesn't mean that Victor's guilty.
Kevin, I'm looking at the facts. Your father was picked up near a phone where a call from the killer was traced. He mysteriously disappeared at the hospital at the same time that Devlin and Grace Sullivan were murdered. Add that to the fact that he's got complete access to your home. He could have easily planted the clown suit and the noose.
I have considered those facts. I just don't believe he's responsible.
Kevin, the last time you spoke with the murderer, he knew about your past. Heck, he bragged that you two were minds of a kind. Whose mind is closer to yours than your father's? It's beginning to look like I've got the right guy after all.
Joe, I'm sorry I was so snappish earlier. Blame it on finding out the man I've been seeing may be a murderer.
Listen, I'm gonna get out of here early. Why don't you say I take you to dinner?
Oh, that's so nice. But I'm not off yet. Some of us don't keep bankers' hours.
All right. Speaking of that venerable institution, why don't you give me the key to the safety deposit box? I'll go down to the bank and get the ring myself.
I haven't used that safe deposit box in ages. I'd have to go digging for it, but the bank would be closed by then.
You call me crazy, Mom, but I don't think you're too eager to help me out here.
Well, what are you so anxious about? Is she pressuring you for a real ring?
No,
Is
she's
that
not.
it?
She doesn't even know that I'm doing this. She's happy with the Cracker Jack ring that I gave her, but I just want to give her this ring and surprise her, that's all.
Karen's not pregnant, is she?
No, Mom. Oh, actually, you know what, though? We do have 5 kids, and we just want to make it legal.
Oh, very funny.
Mom, listen to me. I love Karen, all right? And I just want to give her this ring and make the engagement official, that's all.
Well, then what difference can a day make? You guys have the rest of your lives.
They told me to wait here for Victor.
After your radio show, they took Victor back to his cell.
Did you both hear the program?
Yeah. It really, really frightened Victor. You know, all this circumstantial evidence and the hard, cold facts haven't really bothered him at all. But this thing scared him out of his wits, I think. All those people being so angry and accusing him of being guilty. And I just literally watched his spirits crumble. I think he's fearing the worst. And, you know, he always carries on with that weird kind of bravado that he has. I've just never seen him afraid. I've never seen him like this.
I have to get him out of this, Lucy.
He asked me to help him. All I could do was hold his hand. They were really hard on you, too.
I'm fine.
While I was in here, I had this idea. What if you use me as a decoy? I mean, this nut came after me before, right? So this nut may do it again, and you could set it up so that someone actually comes after me, and then you go after him, and you could get...
No. I don't want you involved in this, Lucy. It's dangerous. And I think it would be best if we kept our distance for a while. I think you should go.
I forgot something when I moved out. I was so upset when we argued. I forgot to give your ring back. So, I guess you want it back then? The happiest day of my life was when you gave this ring to me. And the saddest day of my life is giving it back to you.
Victor, I'm sorry. All I did was make it look worse for you.
Mark, it's all right. You did your best. That's something that I love best about you.
It's gonna be okay.
Victor Collins, you're under arrest for the murder of Bennett Devlin, Grace Sullivan, Jake Marshak, and Cassandra May.
Victor?
It's okay.
You'll be fine.
You have the right to remain silent. If you give up that right, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. You have the right to have that attorney present while questioning. Now, for an attorney, one will be appointed to you by the court free of charge.
You've reached the Collins residence. Please leave a message.
I heard you on the radio, begging me to call in. Of course I couldn't. And it's all your fault. You had the police follow me so I couldn't use a phone. I'm disappointed. I consider you a worthy adversary, and yet you continue to underestimate me. I'll make sure that won't happen again.